Hello everybody, this is John Hopkins with Baltimore Heritage, and we're back with another of our 5-minute history videos. And today I'm at Zion Lutheran Church just across from City Hall, and I am down in their basement. It is quiet now, but in a couple days it is going to be a hub of activity as they prepare for their annual sour beef dinner. Zion's been doing sour beef dinners for years, and for years Baltimoreans have been lining up to partake in this oh-so-German tradition. That's what we're going to talk about today. I am going to try to keep it short and let the people who do the cooking do the talking, but let me squeeze in a few words about sour beef, about its origins, and what's up in Baltimore with it. So what is sour beef? It is a cut of beef, usually kind of a tough cut, no fillets here, that's soaked in vinegar and spices for a couple days, and then it's cooked and it's served with gravy, often with ginger snap crumbled into it, and then with potato dumplings. It is a signature German dish, sauerbraten, often considered the national dish of Germany. So that's what it is. Other cultures have beef dishes soaked in vinegar. Think of beef vindaloo from India, or think of bistro steak in France, or carne asada from Mexico. But this dish with its dumplings and its gravy is German 100% through and through. So that's what it is. Where did it come about? Well, that's where things get a little murky. The historical culinary record has all sorts of chatter about it being invented by Julius Caesar as he crossed the Alps, putting meat into jugs of red wine as he was trying to take over what's today Cologne. The problem with that is that there is zero record of that actually leading to sour beef. Another superstar comes into the picture, again through the sort of historical chatter. Some people say that Charlemagne invented sour beef in the 9th century to show Germans what to do with leftover cuts of meat. Great story, no evidence whatsoever. What we do know for sure through the historical records comes through cookbooks. And written cookbooks appearing in the early 1800s have recipes for sour beef. Maybe the most widespread was a cookbook by a woman named Henriette Davidus. She writes in the early 1800s her recipe for sauerbraten, sour beef, which was then translated from German into English, largely for American Germans here on this side of the Atlantic. She says, soak rounds of beef in beer vinegar with bay leaves and nutmeg for 3 to 4 days, and then when you serve it, make a gravy from the drippings. She doesn't talk about potato dumplings, but maybe that comes a little later. Here in Baltimore, with our large German population, we have no doubt been serving sour beef on family dinner tables for eons, but we don't need to speculate because restaurants and political clubs and churches have been bragging about their sour beef for years and years. For example, beginning in the 1930s, a stall at Lexington Market called Mrs. Ruland's Home Cooking would serve sour beef once a week. Mrs. Ruland said that her beef was so good people would line up with buckets to take it home for dinner that night. A restaurant called Baum's on Saratoga Street in the 1940s advertised its, quote, famous sour beef. And then, of course, German restaurants like Hausner's and Eichenkrantz and Schatzi's had sour beef on their menus as a staple. Political clubs also seem to use sour beef dinners as fundraisers. The Young Men's Bohemian Democratic Club of the 7th Ward had one often, as did the Ladies Auxiliary of the United Democratic Club, earning a bunch of money for them. And then churches advertised their sour beef dinners, often on Thursday nights. I'm not sure why Thursdays, but they did. The First German United Evangelical Church in Fells Point advertised, as did St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Norwood and Sacred Heart of Jesus in Highlandtown, serving sour beef dinners year after year. I think sour beef is something like a culinary magnet. There's something about it that brings people together for fellowship and for obviously good food. But I am going to stop talking and turn it over to some folks who know more about that than I do. All right, we are all yours.
Hi, I'm Leslie Trageser. Maiden name was Neiman. My parents, my grandparents, and the whole family has been at this church our whole lives. We've gotten married here, christened, our kids grew up here, and it's dear to our hearts. So for me to continue this sour beef tradition is very important to me. We have probably almost 100 people, but we work in teams. Different people come in different days, but then the day of, it's a Wednesday and a Thursday, and we have people here all day, all night. The beef gets soaked for 5 days, and this year we've cooked over 300 pounds. Other years we've cooked more. but it takes a lot of time to cook all that meat. We have older equipment, and always hoping for new equipment, but we go with old school style, because that stove is probably 100 years old. I'm thinking. I know some of the pots are 100 years old, but it takes all day to cook that meat. And then we have a whole nother day that we make the gravy, and another day that prepares the pans to serve the meat. So it's definitely stages of things. All the people that come together to make it together. I mean, it's such a community event that everybody in the kitchen, everybody that's in part of it, is really enjoying being together. And then seeing the happy faces of everybody that comes to enjoy it. The dates are October 16th and 17th. We serve from 4 to 8. We have an amazing beer hall upstairs, and we will have live music. There will be beer, there will be pretzels. It'll be a very festive Oktoberfest type of atmosphere.
I'm Ellen Burt Solomon, and I've been in this congregation my entire life. And my parents were German immigrants that came to this country in the 20s. And my father was sponsored by his uncle, who was a member of this church. So that's how our family came here. And my mother was in charge of the kitchen, and I kind of helped her. When she passed away, I kind of took over. And now I'm 86 and I'm slowing down a little bit, so I've turned it over to Leslie. It's a family thing, and over the years it was always a privilege to work in the kitchen. Everybody seems to know what to do. My son and my 2 grandsons come down as a team to make gravy, and the secret is you have to keep stirring. The boys don't quite understand it, but I stand behind them, and they keep stirring so it doesn't stick because of the ginger snaps, and that's kind of the secret of the gravy. We don't really know when sour beef actually started here. We kind of differ on this. I think it's 75 plus years. From what I've heard, we're one of the few remaining churches that have it.